So what you all are going to see is my first win on Xbox One. First of many, hopefully. And I just decided I could go back into the replay mode, and I'm going to give you the perspective that I had, hopefully, once I get off the bus. And I'm just going to go through like kind of what I did, and I hope some folks find it helpful. So first, just kind of break it up into pieces. Just a little bit about myself. I started playing Fortnite on PC to a intense struggle to the point where I wanted to try it on the newer platform. So I switched back to Nintendo Switch, and I got about 100 wins across a couple of seasons. And I decided, I want to eventually get back onto PC and compete, at that high level. So now I'm playing on Xbox, so they had keyboard and mouse support. But the thing is, I find playing Fortnite with a controller is just something that seems more natural to me. And I know that's probably a lot of people would argue against that, but it's just a personal preference, and I don't see myself switching from that too long. But maybe one day somebody might convince me to do that. But I do play other FPS, but I don't know. It's just the third perspective. Anyway, I like to land at this house, and it gives you a fight, usually an early fight right away, and that was my full intention. But as you're gonna see, I'm gonna land about right outside of there. So I usually like to go for either one of these two chests because they usually have a weapon spawn. Here, I believe, was a blue pump. And then I see that guy gets it, and I realize I'm not going to be able to get that in time. So to avoid a death, I go to this house and loot it. So I hear the chest. Go ahead and grab that weapon. Usually there's a spawn. Pretty lucky drop. Then I go ahead and get the chest. And I have a pretty decent loadout. So I want to talk about. I know you can't see my in-game HUD, but I usually like to rock a pretty standard loadout. Nothing too fancy. I like to do just a assault rifle, some sort of form of shotgun, and an SMG. If I mix it up at all, I'll usually either get those three weapons and a rocket launcher, or those three weapons and a snipe. How you decide to play the game is up to you. I'm a pretty big fan of suppressed weapons, and you'll see that a little bit later in the video. But as of right now, I grab those balloons, and I go ahead and start hacking the furniture off. But I want to push those people up there right away, because I know they probably have little to no loot. So that guy is going to loot this group, and I'm trying to get the jump on him. I can't get first shot accuracy with balloons, but he is mining, and he's not aware of where I am right now. But I think he hears me coming in. He starts building up, just putting pressure on him, trying to stay as far away from him as I can, line of sight with the house and that shed. He builds a wall, and some pump, and I finish up with a pump. So, pretty clean kill. Didn't take any or at all damage. And I managed to grab some decent loot. Then I'm pretty sure I reason this house is looted. So I go ahead and leave it alone. I don't quite remember this. Nope, I went back and got the furniture because nobody else did. And if you don't know already, that's a pretty good source of mats. And these chimneys actually give off a pretty decent amount of stone. So if you ever are landing and you're not hacking the furniture already, that's something you should probably start doing. Also, another reason why I like to land here, I don't want to flip the perspective, but you saw there's like 5 to 10 apples over there, maybe just 6 or 7. That's also a good source of health in case you get an early fight and you win, and then you don't manage to loot any sort of healing. It kind of gives you a quick means to heal. So there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and use the balloons to kind of travel around. I've found these balloons that have been pretty helpful for me. It allows you kind of get the jump on some enemies, and as I've learned, there are a lot of means of fast travel in the game, and this is just one of them. So I build the wall, look for the chest to spawn. It's not there. And I just go ahead and I'm looking for some fights because I'm pretty sure I can't see my in-game map, but the circle was behind me, so I want to go through. So I grab the suppressed. I really prefer this gun. It's pretty great. Allows you to get some pretty good clean shots from a distance, and before people actually build up on you, you can get a couple of pretty decent shots in. So I enjoy that gun quite a bit. And the regular SCAR. It just depends upon the situation. I'm a little bit apprehensive still when I'm playing games, and that's why I'm not going for like aggressive, like hot drops. So I think that's why I chose the suppressed SCAR over regular SCAR, or why I prefer it right now anyway. So I hear that sniper shot, so I'm looking around. I'm checking Salty just to see if anybody's still here. It looks like there was some fights. Maybe somebody got blown up in there. Just trying to stay as high up as I possibly can. And then I see this person on the top of the gas station. So what I do is this. I use the pre-existing build. I stay up there. He doesn't have any clue that I'm there, so I can take as many free shots as I can, and that pretty much knocks him down. So here I had some new weapons, so I'm trying to make some choices on loadout. I'm pretty sure I had a gray SMG, so I wanted to get rid of that soon. And then I did pick up the purple pump shotgun. So I switch out my SMG. And I'm still kind of checking this area because it's still very much in the zone. So still got a few balloons. Checking around other houses. Trying not to be on the same level as other people. Because I want to try to get the surprise on someone. With the suppressed weapon, you have a big advantage as far as starting fights, and you can be a little extra aggressive than as opposed to you normally would, because they can't really hear or see where you're shooting from, or how far. Unless, of course, you are up close, then I think you can hear the fire. It's kind of like a pressurized type of thing. So this is a really good source of materials. I don't know. I've seen it in a couple of videos. I've seen it in a lot of different places, but this is a really quick source of materials. Just want to point that out really quick. I really do like these houses. If I drop closer to Salty, I like to go to those three houses. There's 3 possible chest spawns. It's a good place to go. So at this point, I don't believe I had shields. So I wasn't trying to get too eager. I see there's a blue SMG, so I switched that out for like my green one. And I'm looking around just to see in case anybody does appear and show up. Because there's a plane that will spawn here. I think it's just like crashed through this house. But whoever has come here has already looted everything. So here's a cool trick. You can actually use these balloons with the tires to get some additional height and get a better vantage point over some folks. Let's see. I may fast forward a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit of time, so let's just fast forward just a few minutes. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm still looting. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let this ride. So I opt to keep, there's a purple AK, so I opt to keep my suppressed scar because I still have balloons. And then I find this rift to go. So what I do is I want to keep these balloons as long as I possibly can. So I do the trick where you shake it, immediately switch out, so you get a free rift to go, and you don't have to sacrifice line of spot. Here, I think I was trying to land on one of these planes, but I am not entirely sure how to do that. So I go ahead and I make for the zone. So I don't think I saw that person, which is why I opted not to go for them. I just wanted to get into zone and rotate. I'm pretty notorious for getting trapped in the storm. So I want to talk about what I just did. When you're rotating, there's a couple, and you're looking at your zone. So here's where I am. I'm right on the edge of the map. There is a pretty strong possibility. I don't think I got anyone with that particular trap, but there's a good chance that people will be rotating in there trying to heal from the storm. Might be weak. You could potentially pick up a free kill that way, setting up traps towards the entrances of those buildings that are right outside of the storm. So, I mean, if I were there or in that other building that's a little bit further south, it's a possibility that you could get some free kills and or fend off people who are trying to kill you while you're trying to heal. So just a little strategy. It's almost completely invisible, and it's worth checking out and worth trying. So while I'm in zone, there's quite a bit of time to rotate. I just go ahead and get materials so I don't risk running out towards the end game. I'm very much preparing for the end game. There's about 22 people left in this circle. So I just wanted to make sure that I was prepared. I didn't want to run out. Just kind of checking, making sure that I'm pretty much preparing for several fights in this once the circle rotates. I'm looking at the other windows. I hear a hand cannon shot. It seems pretty far away. It's probably above me. I really like suppressed pistols. Okay. So now I know that there's somebody here. That wall just completely dissipated. I see this guy, and I think he's looking at somebody else from what I think he's ADSing or aiming down sight at someone else. So I want to get the jump on this guy. So I build a ramp, build a wall, floor, another ramp. I triple reinforce that, and I just clean up here. Easy kill. Didn't even take, I don't believe I took any damage at all. And then I finally get shields. So this is when I start making some decisions. I still have my heals. Always want to prioritize getting some sort of heal. I use the balloon so that I can still travel with like I would with a regular balloon, but now I don't have to carry them in my inventory. So I hold on to that for as long as I can. No reason not to collect traps. They pretty much join your inventory there. You can carry as many as you possibly want. And here we're just rotating around these buildings. Still in zone. Still in. I managed to, on the second rotation when this storm closed, I still managed to make it inside of the next circle. So I'm not feeling a lot of pressure to this. I'm really much playing for the end game. I really wanted just to go for the win. That doesn't necessarily mean not to take fights. I think there is a big difference between going for kills and going for eliminations. I mean, one is obviously inherently more riskier than the other one. I really did want to get into fights because you're going to have to cross through enemies, but I kind of wanted to do it on my terms. If I don't have to fight somebody I don't want to, I guess that comes with more confidence. The more if you feel more confident in your abilities, heck, go for those hot drops, go for the fights. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to play for the win. Really working on some kind of building mechanics and making sure that I am aiming correctly and getting first shot accuracy. But here I'm just kind of playing the long game, playing for the end. So that's why you don't see me being like super aggressive. So I think I employ the same strat. Try to do the same thing. Try to get somebody with a trap. Because again, this building is on the storm. So I hear the quad crasher. He's coming down. He's to my right. So I try to place this trap here. He's on. I hear him on the ground. And I see that he's building up. And that's out of zone. So I think that he was probably healing up. I didn't really see this person until a few seconds ago. Went and stole the quad launcher that was over there. I think he's getting shot at from another person. So I'm trying to be patient because I don't believe at this point that he's aware of where I am. So I place another trap in case he tries to get from behind me. And then I see he's trying to break through this wall. So he builds a ramp. Okay, so this ramp is, right now, this is a bad position for me. I still have a balloon. You could play this a couple of ways. I could try to jump up and get some quick shots, maybe either with the shotgun or the AR, because I do have a pretty decent shotgun in my inventory. But here's what I did. So enemies can move in a pretty predictable way. With a game this big, and this is one of my largest philosophies. Excuse me, I forgot to turn my phone notifications off. One of the biggest ideas and thoughts about this game is it's a lot about luck and RNG and probability, which means that you can only get so much good loot. If you get more skilled with killing people and building, your odds greatly increase, and you can kind of overcome RNG. Also, landing in places where there's not a lot of players, there's a lot of RNG. But essentially, with a 100-player lobby, you can't possibly win every game. It's like a 1/100th of a chance, literally, that you could win, if indeed you're playing with a 100-player. It could be 97, what have you. It's still pretty close to 100. But the point I'm trying to get is, not every player you're going to encounter is a ninja or a Tfue or anyone like that. Most of the players you're going to encounter are just not that skillful. They make mistakes, and kind of being mindful of that. So this person's mistake was he moved in a pretty predictable pattern. I was pre-aiming, and I shot him down pretty quickly. He never really had a chance. Peeked way too much, and he just kind of moved so predictable. He probably needed to not peek so much in order for me to get that kill. In order for it to not get eliminated. So I go ahead and loot him, reload all my weapons. Always reload your weapons before you engage. I think I'm going to make a play. I want to go ahead and rotate. So just so you guys know, when you use the launch pad, your balloons disappear. I didn't know this, and I got a little panicked, especially with the amount of people that were left in the circle. And it kind of messed up my rotation, unfortunately. So if you can find tires and have a balloon, use the tires, you might get a better rotation. I didn't really get the one I wanted, so I kind of played for position here. Okay, so I see this abandoned plane. Nobody's in it. I don't hear any footsteps. I don't see any movement. Another good thing, I didn't really see evidence of this yet, but here's a cool tip. You won't see it in the video, and I'm just going to talk through this because I think I kind of am playing for the next circle. If you see a bunch of loot on the ground, and there is ammo, be ready for a fight. Okay? So I think I put another trap in here because I have a ton. Oh, I can't place it because of that. But here's why I say that. When you, because the way ammo works is, and you'll see it here, when you scroll over it, you pick it up. So that means that if there's ammo on the ground and weapons, and a lot of weapons, it means that either two things. Either someone just killed the person, or they have max ammo, which, depending on the length of the game, what portion is possible, but it's more than likely that someone just died and they're right on top of there about to loot the body, or they're waiting and being mindful. So be mindful of that. When you see a bunch of loot with ammo around it, and maybe even more materials, there probably is going to be a person someplace nearby. So at this point, I see I have like a pretty decent circle, right? There's 4 other players left, including myself, or 5 including myself. So I'm trying to play for position. I don't know where anybody is. I see this guy on the distance. I have a suppressed AR, so I take a couple of shots here in a second. I think I may have tagged him once. No, I don't think I hit him at all. No, I tried for it, but there wasn't anything. There wasn't anything there happening. So I hear the rift. I don't really want to be overly aggressive. I'm going for wins. If you're just going for wins, this is fine. But if you want to be aggressive, and if I were to play this circle differently, had I done this differently, play around the perimeters. So I would play around the edge of this circle. I wouldn't really, at this point, because there's 4 players left, and there's not a lot of circle, not a lot of map left, I wouldn't necessarily go like all over the place. But I would play the perimeters, try to work my way into the middle, kind of like that person in the top right on the outside of the circle is doing. That's a pretty viable strategy. You might kind of, if you're patrolling, you might kind of find somebody caught off guard. But I have a pretty good spot. Nobody knows I'm here. They're looking around. I think they hear each other. So I just play for position. So I hear the plane. I don't necessarily, and then I notice this, so I know that there's somebody nearby, either was trying to heal up real quick off the side of the map or something. I wasn't exactly sure, but at this point I know I don't want the planes in, so I go ahead and take some shots at this guy. Those now deal 50 damage. I'm glad they did that and they nerfed the planes. They're pretty strong. But if you get shot out of a plane, 50 damage. So if you are in that position, just ditch it. So he ends up going here, and then I lose him. I try to put some distance between myself and that person. Excuse me. But I kind of lost him. I didn't really keep an eye on him. I do a good job of tracking him. And you either, instead of trying to just go after him, I hold my position. I have a really strong spot. So I just build up. But not too high to the point where he actually takes the other plane that I passed earlier, and he tries to come at me. And I think he actually takes out my building and depletes my health. I'm not exactly sure. I think I did an okay job of defending myself. No, this is what happens. So he's on top of the high ground. This is actually a pretty decent spot. But again, not all the players you're going to run to are God gamers. They're just regular people, average Joes. So in these public matches, mind you. So I just kind of be patient, put some pressure on him. Didn't build quite in enough time. I get stuck here. Thank goodness there was nobody here. This could have been really bad. And also, I just want to point out, my positioning is now the best. I'm already in the circle. The other 3 players are going to have to push towards me. This is probably the reason, single-handedly, the reason why I won this game. If there was anybody even closer and saw that I was stuck on that ledge like that, I would have died. But so there is a luck factor into this. But focus on your skills. Don't depend on luck. Don't depend on positioning. Really get good at concentrating on building and working on your weaknesses. But thank goodness I had a really good position. Nobody knew I was there. I see the heavy shotgun. I have a better shotgun, so I keep mine. And then I hear that heavy sniper. I did not want to. I switched my SMG out for the compact because of the larger magazine. That's really the only reason. And then I just set up a trap. I hear, and this is the reason. I know there's a heavy sniper. 150 to the body, and I'm dead. I don't think I ever had health greater than 150 in this entire thing. I never found a big pot because, again, I wasn't playing super aggressive. I wasn't going into these hot drops, these like really populated areas. So I did not have full health. So I didn't want to get hit a body shot, and then have all this progress run for nothing. So I just wait, and I'm really concentrating on not peeking, getting an advantage on the players that are rotating. There's only 2 other players remaining, and I'm pretty sure they find each other before they find me. And this ending is pretty exciting, so I'm not gonna pause. I'm trying not to pause it. So here comes them rotating. I haven't seen anyone yet. I'm looking over there for some reason. I don't know why. I know this is the only place they could possibly rotate. And then I see that person. I'm trying to ID the second person. And then I hear the building coming from behind me. I go ahead and I build up. I didn't push towards him. Instead, I just kept building up, kept my position between the two. And I'm just putting pressure on him. And then I hear that shot coming from behind, so I build a wall behind me so I don't get shot in the back. And now I'm in a pretty tricky position. We're getting towards like the moving circles, but I've got 2 players and I'm sandwiched between both of them. He was taking shots at me, the other person's building up. I'm trying to be patient. So I go ahead and lay my last trap. I hear the audio cue of him on the ground. He's grappling up to me. And here, I'm breaking through this because he built this wall somehow. That wasn't my floor, which was surprising. I did not expect that to happen, but it did. And I guess he fell down and missed that. Otherwise, again, probably would have been dead. But thank goodness. So here he goes. He's building up. He has slight high ground above me. He's trying to build. Still a guy with a heavy sniper, so I'm trying to keep myself invisible. That's just the replay pushing me through, or just not keeping up. Thanks, ping. So he's waiting for me to peek. I do not want to be shot in the head by that heavy sniper. So I'm going to be patient. He moves down. He's starting to rotate. Now he's still in a pretty good position, so I'm going to wait. I have a launch pad. I'm going to wait till the last possible minute to rotate. And in this place, in this position, when you're in the end game, this is my preference. You play it however you want. If you want to go ham and be aggressive, that's fine. But the other thing, the option is stay above your opponents at all time. Keep an eye on them, stay above them, track them, and just be patient. Because the most patient person is going to be the person who wins. So he takes a shot at me. Thank goodness he missed. They're shooting, they're fighting, and I'm trying to weaken him. I hit him once or twice. One person set up a trap. He's trying to heal, I think. So I'm protecting off the bottom so he can't grapple up to me again, because that'll be bad. I'm just trying to stay above my opponents as long as I possibly can. I'm still in zone. And at one point, I think what happened is that guy got lost in the storm. So I'm looking over here, and I hear him building, but I didn't see. So here's the problem. This guy did not protect himself. He should have built a wall, because this is what happens. I got a pretty great pump shotgun shot, and then I just finished him off. I had much more health than he did, because they were rotating, and I put a lot of pressure on it earlier. So I was able to get that final kill on him with a few shots with my silenced AR. So that was it. pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy. I didn't do any insane plays. You know, you kind of try to play in your comfort zone. So right now, I'm still trying to get used to these lobbies. They're way more competitive than Nintendo Switch has ever been. So I'm really just trying to focus on positioning, you know, aiming, managing my health. It's a lot of skills that kind of go all together. So I hope that you guys don't get discouraged. I hope that if you're kind of new to the game, that's gives you an idea of like how to take an approach that'll maybe net you a win. It's a little conservative on the little on the conservative side, but for the most part, I mean, I took the shots I needed that I knew I could make. Track your opponents, make sure you know where they are. Wait for them to make mistakes. They will make mistakes, and when they do, you kind of have to capitalize them. And not only that, but knowing how to, without taking a bunch of damage yourself. So, if you manage to get through the end of this video, I encourage you to like it and subscribe, and also turn on notifications, because I understand there's like an algorithm to the whole thing. I'm not really familiar with YouTube and all that stuff. I'm very new to making these videos. I hope to make more like this. Maybe get a little more professional editing done on them as I learn. But for the most part, I thank you. And again, follow me on YouTube, subscribe on Twitch, and follow, and also on YouTube. And again, turn on those notifications and like the video. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.